back on the camera for the third time today. I wanted to get up to 120 videos on this channel, so after this it will be 120. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Alcoholics Anonymous, also known as the 12-step program. Now, I haven't been to an AA meeting in 15 years, thereabouts. I haven't set foot inside one of the rooms for a long time. I don't really need to. Technically speaking, I can't do the first step. I forget the 12 steps, but the first one is we realised that we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. I literally can't do the first step because my life isn't unmanageable. I don't feel powerless over alcohol. So I literally cannot do the first step. But when I did do AA, I think I got to step 5. There's no strict curriculum as such in AA to say when you have or haven't done a step. There's no written exam. There's no certification process. You just sort of given the 12 steps and you have to work through them in a relatively informal manner. But I got as far as step 5, I think. And then I asked one of the more advanced members, I asked him how you made amends to somebody who passed away. At the time, I was thinking about my gran, because I never said goodbye to my gran properly before she died. I basically bolted from the room where her deathbed was in. I basically, there's another story, but I said to this person in AA who'd been there for a few years or whatever, and I said, "How do you make amends to somebody who's passed away?" And they said, "What you do is you write them a letter." And I never wrote that letter, and I never went back to AA, and that was about 15 years ago. Now I think AA is okay. I think it is a bit culty. I think it has all the hallmarks of a cult. It has a religious dogma, it has a religious book, it has a community, it has a them and us psychology, it has a few things. It's not that culty. I mean, people leave AA all the time. But then again, I must admit that I was quite reluctant to tell my sponsor at the time because in Alcoholics Anonymous, you're encouraged to get a sponsor, which pretty much is somebody who's been sober longer than you, who kind of mentors you in your sobriety process. And I was quite reluctant to say to my sponsor that I wanted to leave AA. So that in itself is a bit culty. This notion that you're afraid to say that you want to leave. He's actually quite a good bloke, my old sponsor. I do see him from time to time in town. I say hello to him. I think he's doing okay. A guy called Steve. If you're watching, Steve, how you doing? You know me. Not much chance you are watching because most of my videos only get about 5 views a year. But I'm not doing it for the views. I'm doing it for myself. So yeah, AA. Now, one thing about AA is that the US Supreme Court has ruled that AA is a religious organization, so that therefore it's unconstitutional under the American Bill of Rights and what have you to force someone to do 90 meetings in 90 days on threat of being recalled to prison or treatment for failure to comply with 90 meetings in 90 days. So that in itself is a point of controversy. The other thing I'll say about AA is that the so-called Big Book or the Alcoholics Anonymous textbook It's a very well written book. It's a very nicely turned out piece of writing. It's probably worth reading even if you're not suffering from alcoholism. But yeah, AA. And there are many people that have left AA that have stayed sober. And there are many people that keep going back to AA that keep on relapsing. So it works both ways. And yes, you are allowed to go to an AA meeting if you're drunk. You're expected to keep quiet. Will I ever go back to AA? Probably not. I had a drink, like I mentioned in the previous video. I had a drink the other day. It was nearly 3 weeks ago. And I had 4 bottles of Corona beer, small bottles of beer, and a bottle of wine, like 12% wine or what have you. And it just made me feel like shit. I didn't feel too bad when I was drinking it. I enjoyed the actual process of drinking. But the next day, my guts felt so horrible. The pit of my gut just felt rancid. So I'm actually more likely to stay sober now that I've had a drink, paradoxically enough. I'm more likely to stay sober. It just made my guts feel horrible. That's all it achieved. That won't stop an alcoholic, they'll just keep drinking. They will drink anything they can get their hands on, unfortunately. I do have a friend that's going to AA meetings that I see occasionally. But he said, I'm not going to mention his name, but he said that he just goes along to the meetings, but he's not doing the steps. And there was a chap that I met in the Priory. I won't mention his name either, but he basically said that he was sober for a couple of years with AA and got complacent, said that he was putting in the work when he wasn't, and he ended up relapsing. Actually, quite a nice old man, nearly 60 now. He might be 60 actually. I think he is 60 now. He was a lovely old man. I might get in touch with him actually. This chap that I met in the Priory. And also, when it comes to AA, remember there's not just AA, there's NA or Narcotics Anonymous, there's OA or Overeaters Anonymous, there's GA or Gamblers Anonymous. There are lots of different 12-step programs. They just take out the word alcohol, replace it with another addiction. There's a whole plethora of 12-step groups out there. But I think it helped me to stay sober. I think that even though I left 15 years ago, I'm still getting the benefits from the meetings. Somehow, it's kind of like a knock on effect. They're kind of like repercussions to the spiritual work I put in. And it is a very spiritual group. There's a lot of love in those rooms. There's a lot of understanding, a lot of compassion in those rooms. So, yeah, Alcoholics Anonymous. If you are slightly spiritually inclined and you've got a drink problem, then it's for you. If you're not spiritually inclined and you've got a drink problem, try it anyway because you've got nothing to lose. Okay, there's another 9-minute video. Thank you very much.